Well now, this will be the first time I've talked about this weapon since just before its introduction. Thorn is one of the other big players from Destiny's history. I recently talked about the Last Word, another big guy. Thorn's history doesn't matter so much here, and there's better and more qualified creators to talk about that sort of topic. Today, we're looking into how it performs today. Thorn is a 140 RPM hand cannon. Deals 70 for a crit and 47 for a body. This works out to a .87 time to kill with 3 straight headshots, much like its other 140 brethren. The stats consist of 49 range, 55 stability, 85 handling, 40 reload, 85 aim assist, 21 airborne effectiveness, 100 recoil direction, and 9 in the magazine. As for perks, we've got Mark of the Devourer. This does a few things. It makes rounds pierce targets and apply a slight DOT, in addition to making targets drop Soul Remnants. These Soul Remnants interact with Thorn's other perk, Soul Devourer. Picking up a soul strengthens poison damage and puts 4 rounds back in the mag. The souls are the big green orbs you're seeing in the gameplay. They have a slight homing effect, so you don't actually need to run directly over every kill you get to pick them up. A few points about the poison damage. The poison, when unbuffed, deals very little damage and is generally more useful for delaying health regeneration and spotting targets who retreat behind cover. It can kill some lower resilience players in 2 headshots and a body shot with some delay for the DOT to sink in, but that doesn't come up very much anymore. Soul Devourer strengthens the poison to 7 damage per tick. This amount of damage can kill players with 2 headshots with the poison. There is a resilience gate to this that I am aware of. Having 6 resilience, you will survive that, so that's your magic number if you're ever worried about facing Thorn in the Crucible. Moving on, Thorn is one of those guns where there is an ornament that you should consider when playing with it, and that's the Heretic Robe ornament. It changes both the sight and the shape of the weapon. I'm showing them on screen right now. I'm personally not a fan of the shooting experience, even if I am a big fan of the Scarlet Keep aesthetic. I find that the default ornament is much more open, and the sight being a little further from the barrel of the gun is much easier to shoot with. Thorn is another one of those rare exotics that has an interaction with an exotic armor piece, Necrotic Grip. It simply allows kills with Thorn to spread poison to nearby targets when landing kills, in addition to adding +10 to the airborne stat. It's generally not that useful in PvP, but you must keep in mind that having 30 airborne effectiveness gives you 1-to-1 air-to-ground accuracy, but not aim assist. This brings Thorn up to 31. I find that Ostia Striga is much better for this because it has its own poison effect. Much less useful with Thorn, though it can come up. And it's generally more useful for PvE anyway. As far as pairings go, I ended up having greater success with a sniper than a shotgun, though you could definitely make it work. Thorn works well both aggressively and slightly more passively. It helps you keep players weak by delaying the health regeneration. Leverage this to your advantage by keeping them off you or using it as an opportunity to push. Soul Remnants make Thorn into a 2-tapping beast against low resilience players and very scary to everyone else. It will leave any player extremely weak. One last thing before I send you off. Thorn is basically hard countered by regeneration. Any solar class can apply regeneration with healing grenades. Warlocks can use a healing rift, which isn't regeneration but is basically the same thing. And Titans can pick it up with Lorelei Splendor. This is uninterruptible healing, and Thorn has a very rough time trying to hit through it. You'll find it's basically a worse legendary 140 RPM hand cannon versus these things because it lacks the range that other 140s do. It's supposed to make up for this with the poison, but it's not very strong by default. Thorn is a weapon that would greatly benefit from a masterwork, even if the masterwork is just a hefty stat boost. Anyway, thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.
Zone B locked. Enemy has advanced. That shut them down. Strike, Titan. Zone B captured. You have advantage. Enemy has advantage. Only 1 minute left. Together as one. I love it. One more, Guardian. They've almost won. 30 seconds remaining.